Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to another lovely edition of the Techpedition Podcast. Audio only this time. It is Sunday, April 1st, 2018. I wish I had some elaborate April Fool's joke to tell or submit, but yeah, I didn't really think that far ahead. So, how's it going, Clarence?
Well, for me, I've just been avoiding all news today completely.
Oh man, did you see where Elon Musk posted that Tesla went bankrupt?
Oh, yeah, that's happening.
That was pretty awesome.
That's not even a believable April Fool's joke, is it?
Yeah. Not really, no.
No, honestly, I haven't seen. Oh, I saw a Doctor Who thing, but other than that, I have been kind of avoiding the news for today, almost completely.
Which is usually a good rule to go by, I guess.
Well, it's kind of funny that it falls on the Easter, though. So
yeah, that is true. Okay, so I guess let's hop to it. You want to start us off?
Yeah, man. So apparently Uber has reached a deal with the family of the woman that got killed in the first autonomous driving accident that we know of, I guess, that got pretty popular over the last few weeks. They reached a deal, I guess, for an undisclosed amount, and that kind of ends all potential legal battle going forward in this particular case.
So they pay the dowry.
Yeah, the dowry has been paid. I mean, honestly, they had to have some type of insurance or money or funds set aside to cover something like this. You know, it's interesting that this is the first one, and I guess going forward, it'll get even more interesting to see where it goes from here.
Yeah, they would have been crazy to not have any money set aside. You're right about that.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of feel like we know it's going to happen again. I think that's pretty much guaranteed. The thing is how they step up to these instances and how they improve the tech is the most important thing. I think that Uber has been banned from, I think their contract or whatever deal they had with the state of Arizona has been pulled, and they're no longer able to operate, as of right now, operate in Arizona, which is pretty interesting. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I also thought it was interesting that the person that was supposed to be the safety driver or whatever, they had like sort of a criminal record. So,
oh man,
that was interesting.
Well, you said sort of a criminal record. Like, how bad did this go?
Let me see. I'm gonna see if I can pull it up real quick. I heard it. I was listening to this. I listened to this tech show at night, and
gotcha.
They were talking about how how much of a criminal record they had. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick.
I mean, is that really here or there though with this whole, because obviously the woman did not have control of the vehicle at time of operation. Was she even supposed to be intervening, or was that her job to like intervene?
Yeah, it's actually pretty interesting. According to the information, like, again, I didn't do a whole lot of research on this, but I heard it on a reputable radio program that apparently these Uber drivers, they have to use some kind of human intervention or correction like every 15 miles.
Wow.
On average. So yeah, she definitely should have been paying attention. Because these cars often require human correction, and although you probably can't blame it on the AI, that person should have been paying attention. If you saw the video, they're like fumbling with the radio or something.
Yeah. But that being said, yeah. I mean, this again, I've said it before, but I don't think a regular driver would have saw that woman and been able to react in time. Of course, we weren't there, but that's just kind of what I kind of feel, that it was pretty pitch black out that night when the woman was hit.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, like, all around. And yeah, Nvidia mentioned it in there. They had their whole GPU computing summit, or I guess you would call it their expo or whatever. And in the keynote, their CEO, he talked about how they've got to get better at the machine learning for the AIs that are driving these cars, because, and he mentioned the accident. I was surprised he even mentioned it.
Yeah.
But he just stressed that it's very, very important that they get it right.
Now, was that Intel tech in the Uber or no? Because I think Intel pulled all their vehicles, their technology off the roads as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know that, if I'm not mistaken, there was an executive who worked for Waymo who left and went to Uber, and he brought a bunch of the technology from Waymo over there, and there was some huge lawsuit. So I'm not 100% sure what was controlling the vehicle that caused the accident. So I don't know. I guess it's neither here nor there. But
speaking of NVIDIA, you have some NVIDIA news?
Yeah. So like I mentioned, this past week, Nvidia had their big their computer summit, their supercomputing summit. Excuse me. And they unveiled a brand new product. It's called the Nvidia DG X2, and they're calling it the world's largest GPU. It is 2 petaflops of power with 16 stacked Volta GPUs.
Oh, wow.
And it cost a paltry $399,000.
Okay. This is obviously
that sounds like a lot. Sounds like a lot. This is definitely not for the end user. This is for machine learning, high performance computing. So, I mean, the way they sold this was, you have a row of server racks and, I would say maybe 10 racks of server equipment that would do your machine learning or your, what else do they do? They do all kinds of calculations and, they map out like viruses and DNA and stuff, like all these different applications for supercomputing. This box can take the place of like 10 or 12 racks of servers. And the cool thing about it is these GPUs are all linked, with a high speed interconnect. What are they calling it? I should have read better. It's called a NV switch. So it's a hyperspeed interconnect. It has interconnect that has 2.4 terabytes a second of bandwidth. That is like unheard of. Like just the backplane for the switches would be like hundreds of thousands of dollars in regular switches, and it probably wouldn't perform as well. And this is of course running the Tesla V100, which is their flagship Volta compute GPU product. And let's see, it has 2 Intel Xeon Platinum CPUs, 1.5 terabytes of memory, dual 1025 gigabit Ethernet, and it also has 30 terabytes of NVMe SSDs for internal storage.
Wow.
Basically, this thing costs $400,000, and like we could probably, it would take the place of like hundreds of servers, pretty much.
Yeah, I'm reading this footnote at the bottom of the article. It's a $399 K for the world's most powerful computer. This replaces 3 million of 300 dual CPU servers consuming 180 kilowatts. This equates about 1/8 the cost, 1/60th the space, and 18th the power.
Yeah.
Wow, that is pretty amazing.
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, that $399 seems like crazy, but if this is what you're in business for, you would save an enormous amount of money by purchasing one of these. But yeah, definitely not for the end user.
Cool stuff, man. Cool stuff.
But can it run Crysis? That's
in other words, the ultimate Bitcoin machine.
Oh God, I'm sure people will be using it for that.
Mine everything. Yeah. I can see a small country buying a couple of these and saying we're going to own crypto. It's not a bad investment.
I just would wonder if somebody got a hold of one of these, just mine with. I would just like to see what the hash rate is. I'm sure it's insane.
It has to be, man.
It would be really cool, I guess.
I can see this being used for a rendering farm too, or something.
Oh yeah. You can use that for you can use it for that actually, for rendering like 3D animation or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it has so many use cases. I mentioned like machine learning and scientific computing, but it can also be used like you're saying for rendering. And yeah, if you're in high performance computing, this would be the thing to have, I guess. I'll never afford one, but maybe one day. Nvidia, send me one, I'll review it.
So, dude, have you heard any of this news of our president? Like,
yeah, I heard him pooping on
Amazon.
Yeah, I heard him pooping on Amazon. I heard that on the radio as well. I listen to a lot of radio on my way to and from work. So yeah, this really surprised me. Coming from the man who, and not to make this too political, who used all kinds of nefarious methods to subvert paying taxes and bragged about it on debates. He's like, well, that just means I'm smart, or he says something like that. And he complains about Amazon.
So to read his tweet from Sir Donald J. Trump. I've stated my concerns with Amazon long before the election. Unlike others, they pay little or no taxes to state and local governments. Use of our postal system as their delivery boy causing tremendous loss to the U.S. and are putting many thousands of retailers out of business.
Yeah. This has become quite commonplace with Trump. He kind of goes on these rants, and then we ask the press asks his cabinet and his associates, whatever, and they're like, we don't have anything to announce. And we're like this. Let's see. Sarah Huckabee Sanders, the press secretary, lovely woman, said that the administration did not have any policy changes to announce. So this was basically just a Trump rant, but he is obsessed with Amazon, apparently.
And the thing is, like, anytime he makes a crazy statement like this, it immediately affects stock prices. I think Amazon stock was down as a result of this tweet over the last week. So, does he have a point? Yeah, maybe.
He actually does have a point. I mean, let's be honest. Dude. Amazon didn't pay any taxes last year. They made billions of dollars and paid no taxes. Like, seriously? None. Like, none. Seriously, none. Like, they pay basically no taxes. We probably paid more taxes than Amazon did last year. Wow. So he has a point. But this
is that due to incentive? Because, okay, you come build a building here in our state, we're going to give you this X amount of tax write-off. They still have to be paying some type of federal taxes, right?
I don't know. It looks like, well, I mean, the thing is, you have to realize is they just started charging sales tax like the past year. They started charging sales tax everywhere, but
is it everywhere really? See, I thought Mississippi. I thought Mississippi only started charging sales tax with Amazon is because they acquired Whole Foods and they have a business here now.
No, they charge sales tax everywhere now, not just where they have a brick and mortar presence. They changed that last year. So, let's see. Amazon also charges taxes on agreements with state, but Trump is not alone in criticizing how the company collects taxes. And the other thing is, with Amazon, the third-party sellers are not required to collect tax. And I've done this myself. I would select a third-party seller because they wouldn't charge the sales tax.
Oh, wow.
Amazon does not collect that. So that's millions of dollars that's going through without taxes. Yeah, and I don't know. I kind of have mixed feelings about this part of it because, that was one of the things that I feel like gave Amazon a leg up. And it's one of the reasons why I use Newegg, and I probably shouldn't be saying this, is because they don't charge sales tax in Kansas. So, it's, because the sales tax where I live is 9.1%.
Jeez.
It is a lot. Yeah. So basically, I'm trying to get around that any way I can. Because if you buy something that costs, like, for instance, I bought if I buy a CPU, so I just bought a Ryzen 5 1600X CPU from Micro Center, and I paid $178 for it, and I paid like $20 in tax. Now, because Micro Center's prices are so good, it was still cheaper than Amazon or Newegg, but that's just something to think about, I guess.
Yeah, and the other part of this whole argument was his statement that basically the U.S. Post Office has been raked over the coals by this deal they made with Amazon to aid in the delivery of their packages. Now, I don't know the specifics of the deal, but it's most people I've heard talk about it. It sounds like a pretty bad deal by the post office, which I can't really fault Amazon for that. Like, you really have to fault the people who put the deal in place for the post office. Yeah,
I was just gonna say, is it Amazon's fault that they took a crappy deal? Like, is that really Amazon's fault?
Yeah. And again, the tweet from President Trump, why has the United States Post Office, which is losing many billions of dollars a year while charging Amazon and so many others little to deliver their packages, making Amazon richer and the post office dumber and poorer?
How are they making
Should be charging much more. And I cannot read that statement without doing the hand movement that Trump does. I just couldn't.
The little pinchy finger thing. But, seriously, like, he has a point, but to our previous point, like, Amazon didn't hold a gun to the USPS's head and say, you have to take this deal, The other thing is, I think it's awesome that, we get Sunday deliveries here now. We get same day deliveries. In Kansas City Metro, and it's like, if I had to pay $20 a month for Prime, I think right now I'm paying $10 because I don't do it yearly. What they do is worth $20 to $50 a month, and I would happily pay that to get same day delivery or to get. And I mean, it's just one of those things where if they decide the next deal they make with the USPS, if they decide to pay them more and charge more for it, I don't think that people would have a problem with it because Amazon's just so convenient now. It's like I could get in my car and drive in the snow to Walmart, or I can order something on Amazon and have it delivered the same day and not even have to leave my house. It's no contest, and the prices are competitive. And even with sales tax being charged on Amazon, the prices are competitive. So I don't feel like Amazon's going anywhere.
Yeah, man. Oh my God. Dude, I just actually went to Trump's Twitter page. I didn't realize he had something. He wrote about 20 tweets about this.
Oh, he went on a rant, man.
But Jesus, are we really losing $1.50 on average?
NAFTA need wall.
That's a bad deal if they took that. Wow. Oh man. So I guess we heard about the big Apple event we kind of hinted at last week.
Mm-hmm.
So there is going to be a cheaper iPad that is school focused. Let me get the price.
$300, $299 for students and teachers, and the Apple Pencil will be reduced. I think it's like $89 or $79.
Yeah, like a $10 discount on the Pencil.
Yeah,
not bad.
Which to me this is huge. A Apple Pencil compatible iPad, because pretty much before this you had to pay $600 to $1,000 on an iPad Pro. If you wanted to use a pencil because you had to buy the Pro. I mean, this was a huge announcement in and of itself. If they would have just added, which is what they did.
But it's still $399 for non-educational use, right?
No, I think it's like $329.
Okay, that's not that bad.
It's $329 if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to go on the site real quick. But it's $329 if you just buy it outright, and then you get like a $30 discount if you are a student or teacher. And yeah, I mean that's crazy pricing, I feel like, and that's going to bring them right in there. It's 9.7 inches. Yeah, starting at $329. Yeah, and you get the pencil support, so it's amazing.
And maybe more importantly, we hinted this last week as well, like the administrative functions, which the device management that they've kind of built into for deployment to schools, and it seems like it's much more much easier to provision than it had previously been.
Mm-hmm.
They did a brief demo, said you can provision hundreds of students in X amount of time, very short amount of time. I think it was like minutes, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. They're making inroads to make this more like a what's the Chromebook like experience. So, I mean, I think if they can accomplish that, it'll be pretty awesome for school systems. But still, do we see this going anywhere versus the Chromebook?
I don't know, mainly because I don't even know if you can use the Apple keyboard with this. I don't think you can. I think the Smart Keyboard's still exclusive to the Pro. So to me, the keyboard was going to be like the linchpin.
Yeah.
So I don't like, that's my thing is I'm worried that I know that like there's some third party like keyboard cases you can buy, but it would have been nice to have an Apple sanctioned keyboard for this. And I don't think there is one.
And honestly, I don't think the keyboard would be that expensive to make. I don't know why they don't just bundle that in.
Well, I mean, I guess looking at the price of the keyboard, it's like $159.
Eee.
So, and that's probably over half of that's probably Apple tax. So, I mean, it's one of those things where I don't even know how much the MacBook Air costs, but they probably don't want to cannibalize the MacBook Air market.
Yeah.
But because I mean, yeah, the cheapest MacBook laptop it looks like is about $1,000, and I mean that has to be it because if you add a keyboard to this, people will probably not buy
the
other Mac. So,
yeah. I mean, again, we talked about the software. They announced something called Schoolwork, which will allow teachers to assign digital handouts to students. Apple compared it to writing an email. Teachers will be able to write notes, PDFs, send links. And since this is all on iPad, they will even be able to assign student activities that live inside other apps. Which that sounds interesting.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool.
All
that
data
would
is
be
private. Sorry.
What?
No, they said all data is private.
Oh,
Apple.
They wink at Facebook when they wrote that.
Wink, wink.
But it's just one of those things where, like, that would be the biggest problem with using a Mac would be the user management. So it's good that they're actually building that in and at least being cognizant of the fact that that is a hurdle for using like Apple stuff. So that's cool.
Yeah.
LDAP support would be huge. So I don't know if they'll build that into it, but if they could do that, that would be humongous.
Is LDAP that prevalent in school systems?
Well, I mean, the thing about LDAP support is if you have, like, say, like if you have a Microsoft network that's running Active Directory, which is like Microsoft's user management domain system, if like even with regular Macs, they're LDAP compatible, so you could actually connect a Mac to a Microsoft Windows Active Directory network.
Okay.
Use your login. But the thing is, the GPOs are not the same, so you wouldn't be able to pull any GPO like group policy for the Mac. So you couldn't say this user account can't install applications. You can't do anything like to that degree, but you could at least do user authentication. And I think that would be pretty cool if you could connect the iPad or whatever to your domain. That way you don't have to provision user accounts separately. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting too much in the weeds with that.
Yeah. And again, like, even if I'm pretty sure, like, for most of the school districts, they buy these, Chromebooks or iPads at this price. But I mean, I think by bringing the iPad down to closer to, I mean, that sub $400 or sub $300 level, I mean, I think now it's feasible to say, okay, once a student hits the 9th grade, you just buy it for them, instead of having to go through the school system. It's at a fairly reasonable price.
Yeah, it is.
And especially if they can do most of, if not all of their work on that device. So we'll see where it goes.
Yeah. Interesting nonetheless.
Yeah. Do we have anything else? I think that's it.
Yeah. So, yeah. To be a short but sweet episode of Techpedition.
Slim pickings, man. Slim pickings.
Yeah, it was a pretty slow week. So,
yeah.
Yeah, the end of Dragon Ball Super, by the way, was amazing. I don't know if I talked about that.
Was it everything you hoped and dreamed?
It was somewhat predictable, but it was still pretty awesome. Can't wait for the movie. That's really all I want to say.
Okay. Well, anything else you want to working on?
Well, we have a podcast about Discovery, right?
Yeah, we have a podcast called Discussing Trek, which can be found at discussingtrek.com, where we talk about Star Trek Discovery and all things Trek. So yeah, check that out.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and I guess we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for listening in with us.
Very, very quick. Techpedition. Very, very quick. Techpedition. Very, very quick. Techpedition. Very, very quick. Techpedition. I can't beat that.
I just smells burnt and dusty.
Hey guys, don't miss an episode of the Techpedition Podcast. For more information, go to techpedition.com/subscribe. TECHPEDITION.com.